Yes, guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. I am Sean Butler. How do I start this one? Tottenham Hotspur have just been beaten, just been absolutely smashed 4-0 by Newcastle United. A game that, look, I predicted it before the game. I said there was going to be goals both ends because I know both teams are vulnerable defensively. Today, Newcastle United weren't, but it wasn't particularly because their defence was sensational. We didn't really create enough. We had a couple of chances, which we'll talk about in a minute. But to me, guys, this is an example of when I've been trying to talk to you guys about exploitative managers versus game theory managers. Eddie Howe, for me, is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, exploitative manager in the Premier League. He understands how to play against another team, and he can set up, even with 11 injuries, he can set his team up in a way that can take advantage. And boy, did they take advantage today. Look, Newcastle United away is not a fixture that Tottenham often do very well in. So, I was only really expecting, with my fingers crossed, a point from it. But I wouldn't have been surprised to have seen Tottenham on the losing end today, but I was expecting a better performance from that. And the kind of two takeaways just across the game, I'm not going to spend long talking about this game with you in depth because I'm in a bad mood about it. But in a nutshell, we already knew that Tottenham are absolutely horrific at defending set pieces. Corner kicks are an Achilles heel of ours, as are, of course, deep-lying free kicks that are banged into the box. And we've known this for the best part of this year, 2024, and we haven't improved whatsoever from them. I think I counted in the first 10 minutes 5 corner kicks from Newcastle, and every one of them was dangerous. Every one of them could have gone a different way. We got away with them, but it's always a vulnerability, and it doesn't look as though we have improved in those areas at all, and that's a massive concern. It's okay being vulnerable in areas. It's okay having a weakness as long as you're trying to fix it and solve it. And I'm not seeing any real strengthening in our vulnerabilities from set pieces. And the second vulnerability of Tottenham Hotspur's system is, of course, if you get broken in the midfield on the transition, if you lose the ball when everyone's up the field, and then you bang it long into the corners. Everyone knows that this is not it's not an overly complicated thing, but to get it right for the opposition, they have to have someone that's ready to break on the right or the left, put it into the corners, usually to take advantage of Pedro Porro or Destiny Udogie's inversion and the fact that they're somewhere near the opposition penalty area. Today, it didn't even take that. Today, it just took the midfield battle of Elliot Anderson, Longstaff and Guimaraes against our three, which on paper, I'll be entirely honest, Sean Longstaff never gets the credit that he deserves in the Premier League. He's such a wonderful player at doing what he does, and Guimaraes is one of the best at doing what he did today, getting the ball, winning the ball back in the transition as a feisty midfielder, and then smashing it long. And then when a team like Newcastle, and there's a couple of teams in the Premier League have these situations, when they have 3 forwards up front, all of whom are incredibly fast, incredibly capable at dribbling with the ball, and incredibly capable of using both feet and running left and juking and jinking to the right and to the left, then you have a situation where I feel like Tottenham were always going to struggle. Now, that's not putting aside the fact that Tottenham's performance was woeful, the midfield battle was ineffectual, the wastefulness at the top end of the pitch at times when we got it up there was insufferable. And I know some of you are pointing to Timo Werner having 2 chances in the first 5, 6, 7 minutes and saying he scores those, it's a different game. I'm not sure it is. First and foremost, I think that Brennan Johnson is probably one of the only players on the pitch today that I think walks away with any credit for Tottenham. But he whips the ball in first time, and yeah, maybe he could have gone with his head, but even if he scores the goal, Tottenham's system doesn't change, and Tottenham's system today was always going to get outclassed, outplayed, because Newcastle have a squad, despite their 11 injuries today, they have a team that is the kind of antithesis, it's the polar magnet opposite of what Tottenham would want to play against. 3 men in midfield, all of whom are wonderful passers. Even the youngster, Elliot Anderson, but what a player he looks like he's going to become. But Longstaff and Guimaraes partnering up the guys at the back, they had their lack of pace and stuff, but we didn't have a chance to take advantage of it. When that midfield battle's lost, and then you've got 3 players at the top end of the pitch who can all do the damage that Newcastle can do, I just feel like it is the antithesis. It's the exact last thing that you want to face away from home. And so, if there's any positive to take from the game, it's that you only play Newcastle United away once a season, and these sorts of results are going to happen against certain teams. Our system is going to win more times than it doesn't, but there's going to be games. We should know this. We have to remember there's going to be games where it doesn't work, where the other team outplay us, the tactical nous of the manager coupled with the squad capabilities is just a better fit, and occasionally it's going to happen. And so, if you're going to chalk it up to one of those days, then you can, right? But that doesn't excuse the performances from the players in the midfield today. I thought Bentancur and Bissouma were all over the place. I thought James Maddison he looked busy in the first 10-15 minutes, but after that just went missing. Sonny once again, nowhere to be seen for the most part. Timo Werner, I thought he was doing okay, and I thought, if I'm entirely honest, I thought the first chance that was whipped in was more difficult than a lot of people that I've been seeing on WhatsApp are giving it credit for. The second one where he smashes it into Sonny and Sonny's already offside, I think those things can happen. Like I say, Brennan Johnson I thought was okay. I just think the midfield battle was lost. It got, once again, the tail of the tape for me is the need for a specific 6. I have been saying it and saying it and saying it since before Ange managed his first game for Tottenham. If you're going to play this system, then you need to have certain specific types of players in specific roles. I know he likes versatility. I know he likes players that can do a little bit of everything. And he has this fluid rigidity where his system is rigid, but the fluidity comes from the players, which kind of, if you want to read between the lines, it's a little bit of a cop-out. It's you figure it out on the pitch how you're going to do it, but you sort of stick to this idea. I'm not that surprised today, I'm really not. I know it's an embarrassing performance, but I'm not going to come on here and say, anything more than what it is, which is another bad day at the office, another example that this team is nowhere near high enough in quality in some specific areas to be able to take on every team in the Premier League, home or away, with this particular philosophy and have a go and win. I don't think it would have mattered today if we went 1-0 up. I think we would have lost 4-1. I think the second goal 60 seconds after the first was just a head dropper for Tottenham. I think after that, it was a fait accompli. The players lost confidence, but there's something missing in our midfield. Pedro Porro, Destiny Udogie, doing their best defensively, but getting run at by players like Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes and Isaac's not a nice day in the office, especially when you have to track back. Micky Van De Ven, Bambi on ice today a couple of times against Alex Isak. Like I've been saying, if Newcastle United are in financial issues, not financial issues, but if there's some sort of rationale where they need to sell because of the FFP PSR thing, as we've talked about on the channel, with their wage bill being too high relative to their revenue, you can go and get Alex Isak. That guy's a game changer. He's phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. And for all those people that called me deluded 2 years ago when Tottenham were linked with Anthony Gordon, I said, no, that guy's going to become a player. Whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. Look, guys, I'm going to go out. I've got a night out tonight, so I'm going to go and enjoy myself. I'm going to put this one to bed almost and say, yeah, look, terrible performance, terrible afternoon. An eye-opening one, I hope, for certain people in the club, certain people in certain positions. And this notion that we have, players that can do everything are good enough in specific areas, for the love of God, it has to stop. you need a Bruno Guimaraes in our team. You need someone who can sit in the 6 and can smash, can enforce, can dominate. When they win the ball back, they can play and pass the ball. And we have a lot of very good midfielders. We have a lot of very, very talented players. I'm a big fan of Bentancur. I'm a big fan of Bissouma, or at least the old version of him. I'm a big fan of Piere Emile Hojbjerg. But you know what? None of them can do the job that we need in that particular role. And until we fix that, we're never going to progress past top 4. Until we go and get a better forward line, we're never going to outscore every opposition that we're going to come up against. There will be teams like Newcastle who have just the right ingredients in their 11 to overcome our system. And if our system's not going to change, then the players have to. And that's it, guys. Like, subscribe and comment. Let me know your thoughts. Take care. Bye.